I suppose I have to put flesh on my words, you know. But sometimes that's my dilemma too, man. I'm supposed to be a man of God, but I hardly even mention him to anyone, not to the gals even. I keep these thoughts to myself, for my own peace of mind, the ease of my conscience. If I started thinking them out loud all the time, I think I'd go mad. But God listens back. Most of the time, he does.
One of those out-of-the-ordinary days that made sense of the slew of ordinary days. New York had a way of doing that. Every now and then the city shook its soul out. It assailed you with an image, or a day, or a crime, or a terror, or a beauty so difficult to wrap your mind around that you had to shake your head in disbelief. He had a theory about it. It happened and re-happened because it was a city uninterested in history. Strange things occurred precisely because there was no necessary regard for the past. The city lived in the sort of everyday present. It had no need to believe in itself as a London or an Athens, or even a signifier of the New World like Sydney or Los Angeles. No, the city couldn't care less about where it stood.
1974, Philippe Petit, the man who walked on air.
So flagrant with his body, making it cheap, the puppetry of it all. His little Charlie Chaplin walk, coming in like a hack on her morning. How dare he do that with his own body, throwing his life in everyone's face.
The impossible stunt that shocked New York and the world. The unordinary grasping the hearts of people all around the nation. Yet what we often don't see is the extraordinary amongst the ordinary lives of the people walking their own walks 131 feet below.
Few of the people who came across him ever knew of his religious ties, and even in those places where he spent the longest, he was seldom known for his beliefs. Instead, people looked at him with a fondness for another era, when time seemed slower, less complicated. Even the worst of what men did to one another didn't dampen Corrigan's beliefs. He might have been naive, but he didn't care. He said he'd rather die with this heart on his sleeve and end up in another cynic.
I said to myself, I'm gonna make enough money to go home to Jaslyn and buy her a big house with a fireplace and a deck out back with lots of nice furniture. That's what I wanted. I'm such a fuck up. No one's a bigger fuck up than me. No one's gonna know that though. That's my secret. I walk through the world like I own it. Watch this spot, watch it curve. Study me as much as you like. You will not know me, for I differ in 100 ways from what you see me to be. Put yourself behind my eyes and see me as I see myself, for I have chosen to dwell in a place you cannot see. Rumi.
Can't stop now. Letter in hand. Mother seeks bones of son. Found in blown-up cafe in foreign land. She ran down to Lexington to the mailbox on 74th. The white breath leaving her for the air. Toes wet with snow. She knew that if she didn't send it right then, she never would. Being inside the car, when it clipped the back of the van, was like being in a body we didn't know. The picture we refused to see of ourselves. That is not me. That must be somebody else.
He thought of himself as being on a ladder, a well-dressed man on a ladder, a man of privilege and style and learning, in a dark robe, in the House of Justice, using his bare hands to pull the rotting leaves and twigs from the shithouse gutters. It didn't bother him half as much as it used to. That fact was that he was part of the system. He knew that now. A small piece of skin on a large, elaborate creature. A cog that turned a set of wheels.
I lost 2 marriages and 3 boys. They left in different ways, all of which broke my heart. But God isn't about to patch any of it back together. I know I made a fool of myself at times, and I know God made a fool of me just as often. I gave up on Him without too much guilt. I tried doing the right thing most of my life, but it wasn't in the Lord's house.
What can she tell him? That she comes from a long line of hookers? That her grandmother died in a prison cell? That she and her sister were adopted? Grew up in Poughkeepsie, their mother Gloria went around the house singing bad opera? Then she got sent to Yale, while her sister chose to join the army? That she was in a theater department, and that she failed to make it? That she changed her name from Jaslyn to Jaslyn? That it wasn't from shame. Not from shame at all. All the lives we could live, all the people we will never know, never will be, they are everywhere. That is what the world is.